Hello everybody, this is again pre-production Glowplasma231 here, and you're probably looking at the title of this video going, oh, cookie dough before the oven, a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet review, and going like, oh, I wonder where they bring that up in the episode. That's the fun part. We don't. As soon as we finished recording this little sort of review looking thing, stop button, and Jaden just looked over to me and said that, and I was like, that has to be the title of this episode. So that's where that comes in. In the video, I talk about what spoilers we get into. That's completely wrong. We more talk about, like, the story beats, not really spoiling story about, or what story is. So if you don't want to get spoiled on that, don't watch all the way through, right? And then we just go into a few Pokemon, like I said in the intro. But, to the video. Bye. Hello, everybody, and today, we're here to talk about some more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Well, we were here today to do Steel Ball Run.
Yes, but somebody forgot his notes for that. So instead, I'm exploiting him for content even earlier. So this video will come out like Friday.
Okay.
We're recording this on Monday. So at this point, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has only been out for 3 days, right? I want to do a video like every 7 days to talk about it. But being that somebody forgot their notes and we've got Thanksgiving, we'll just don't talk about it today, and we'll get on the schedule at some later point.
All right.
Right? So first off, I think that me and him are going to go pretty spoilery into reviews. Of course,
Yeah.
I've got Jaden with me.
Yep.
Right? So like we're going to talk about some new Pokemon that have been released. So if you don't want to get spoiled on new Pokemon, because I think that's really the only thing we're going to spoil.
Yeah.
Right? There's really nothing else.
And we're still relatively early games. That's something to keep in mind.
I've put about 15 hours into it.
I've put maybe 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't really have too much to say about it, but we still have things to say.
Oh, I have a good amount.
Oh, yeah. So I say, again, with all due respect, we are going to be spoiling some Pokemon, regional variants, and all that good stuff. And I say we get started.
All right. My first complaint, Toad's cool.
Nope. I've got one thing I've got to say first, because before all of this, I finally caught a Charcadet.
Nice.
It was a flying Terraraidin.
Oh, really? That's an interesting typing.
Yeah. I just had to get it out there after last episode and what happened to me.
Yep.
I think I cried. Like, literally, the Charcadets are so hard to find.
I found one like 2 hours in, and so did my friend Steven, but then my friend Jacob, he also took like 15 hours to find his.
Yeah, they're so hard, right? And our Taylor, again, he got a Dragon Terror type one.
That's cool.
Yeah. I hope you will be able to change Terror types later. I think you should be.
With how convenient these games have become, there's going to be some item at like the Battle Tower, I think, that you'll be able to pay
it's like Natureman's.
Absurd amount of points for.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the first thing we've talked about this whenever we talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I think the gameplay is some of the best the Pokemon series has to offer.
I agree.
The gameplay is such a good flow of fun and entertaining, right? Personally, I think the way that you catch Pokemon in Legends Arceus is a whole lot better. But this game, you're not expected to catch 50 Pokemon in one run of a map, right?
Like Jacob says that his favorite part was not even battling Pokemon, just throwing Pokeballs and getting them.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think that battling is part of the fun.
Yeah, and battling is definitely part of the fun, and this game with its open world and like your legendary, in my case, Koraidon, is really fun to ride around on.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever you beat the Titan Pokemon to get the upgrades for them,
so
you get a lot of stuff.
I beat Cloth first. He's the only one I've beat so far.
Yeah, I've beaten 2 Titans.
And it allows you to boost. I can drift with Miraidon in cities.
Really?
If you're going straight forward and you boost and then you turn around, you drift. It's
so
cool.
Because I haven't done that yet. I beat the flying type Bombirdier, I think.
Okay.
I beat the flying type one, and that allowed me to swim into water. And also I beat Great Tusk in the desert, which gave me the ability to glide.
Okay.
Right, so I don't even have a boost yet, which seems like the first thing you should get.
Yeah,
but also, like, I've only gone on the west side of the map. I haven't even been over to the east yet.
I've been all over the place. I think that's the thing about open world. There's almost too much to do at first.
See, what I'm just doing is I'm just sort of going around, because what I really want to do is I just really want to get up to the ice area, right? And then I'll just go, like, do a full 180, right? And I was sort of staying in the Bomb Park because I really wanted a Charcadet, right? But now that I found one, I can, like, go explore a bit more and just sort of do it more loosely, right? I think this game is really good when it comes to this open world.
Yeah.
I mean, it is truly a flawless open world. You can go in, besides the main town of, Massagora?
Yeah, that's technically story required, but after that, you're...
No, but, that's the only city with a loading zone you have to get in or out of it, right? Literally everything else, all of the towns and everything, just walk into them.
Yep.
I mean, it's so nice as a Pokemon game.
Yeah, and I think that the fact you have, 18 different things to do besides just the gyms, it really gives you a sense of progression and, goals to work towards.
And speaking of that, right, so you've got your 3 missions, right? You've got your gym challenge, you've got the Titans, and you've got Team Starfall, right? Have you done any gyms yet?
I beat the grass gym first and the electric gym with the VTuber.
I haven't even gone over to the west yet, or I haven't gone over to the east yet. I beat the bug type gym leader, and that's literally it, right? Have you done any of Operation Starfall?
I went near one. It was the fire type, but they were a little too high level for me. So I think that the game, honestly, the areas are a little bit level scaled. You can't just go literally anywhere. You kind of have to go in a certain direction.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's it seems like the bottom of the map is okay, so all the way at the bottom, you've got, your easy stuff, right? As you move up, you get, level 16s, 26s, 36s, right? And just as you get higher in the map, the harder the game gets.
Which, honestly, yeah, I think that,
it's fine, but in my opinion, the problem I'm running into is running around into low areas. I've got level close to 40 Pokemon.
Yeah.
If I want to catch anything, I don't have access to quick balls yet. So if I want to catch anything, I've got to find which moves are the most least effective against Pokemon.
Gotta get that false swipe, man.
To get that, just to be able to catch new Pokemon if they're level 5 or something. It's really annoying.
But, I mean, from a game design perspective, it's really hard to create an entire region that perfectly levels to you.
And yes, it really is. Because one person's going to stay down in the bottom levels and grind their Pokemon to near high 70 before they go anywhere.
And, it's just the thing of Pokemon's always been, as the further you go, the more powerful it gets. So,
exactly.
I get that.
I mean, it's fine. But another thing that I think I sort of want to mention is the, okay, I'm sorry. Have you really never noticed that mask?
I've never noticed it, nope.
Really?
Nope.
It's always been in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, guys, there's a car right here with a Jason mask strapped to the passenger seat.
And
I just noticed it.
And the best part is, this car has always been there when we've been recording.
And
it's always had that thing on it.
I've never noticed it.
Okay.
Right, this might get cut.
No, it's just staying. Yeah, for Christ's sake. So, I think another big part about this is, like you said, you've only beat one gym. You haven't even done Operation Starfall, and you haven't done, you've done just one Titan.
I've done 2 gyms, 1 Titan.
Yeah. I think the story in this game has been pretty good so far.
I haven't honestly seen much of the story. I
haven't either. I've only done 4 missions, but so far the gym challenge has just been, alright, fight the gyms, right? But after you beat the second Titan, you get a little bit of insight into why the guy Arvin wants to get these Titans.
Yeah.
And it's a really, emotional moment. I mean, it's, a really good moment. I think the last time we had something akin to that was in Black and White.
What, with N?
What?
With N?
Yeah, well, those games were the most story-based games in Pokemon. I'm not going to spoil the moment, but it's just something that's really nice and sort of heartwarming, and it's something that if you had a Pokemon, you would probably do too. Right? Really good. And then the Operation Starfall is, after just doing the one of them, I've done the Dark Guy, right?
Yeah.
It's obvious where the story is going to go, but I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Right? I really don't have a problem with how it's going there.
Yep.
I mean, it's truly, if you've done one of them, you can obviously see the story beats that are going to happen. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it works out pretty well.
All right, my next major positive is the soundtrack. I think the music in this game is amazing. It's some of the best in the series.
Yeah, soundtrack is really good.
And it uses a lot of flamenco guitar, which is very inspired by Italian and Spanish music, which I think is really cool.
And this is the Spain Paldea region, so. But I think at this point we need to talk about, like I said earlier, these games are the best Pokemon games ever in gameplay.
Yes.
These may be the worst technical failures I have ever seen in the series.
And in my opinion, they're kind of soulless.
What?
They're kind of soulless.
Why do you say that? We'll get into technical issues in a minute. Why do you say it's soulless?
Let's go to a town. All right, now let's walk into a shop. What do you get? A menu.
You get a menu.
You don't even get...
There are very few shops that...
And I feel like every single city has the same, 17 shops.
It does. Yesterday, I went all around your main tour. What is even a main town's name?
Masagoza, I think.
Masagoza, right? I went around there, and there's like the same shops just repeated over and over. I was looking for a shop that sells evolution items.
Yeah.
There's really none.
I mean, it's this huge city that looks cool, and then there's like, I mean, if you really narrow it down, there's like 6 shops, and they all just sell sandwich ingredients.
Yeah, they either sell sandwiches, which like you can buy like a sandwich for like a drink or something, and like food, or they sell sandwich ingredients, and you've got like your Chansey supply and your Delibird market or whatever.
And they've really stripped down Pokemon centers as well. I mean, they literally become gas stations.
Yeah, but I think that fits the aesthetic overall, right? I mean, of course, it's helpful, like, okay, that's sort of your respawn point, right?
Yeah.
That's your safe place in a way.
But another thing is, have you noticed, you can't even fight, like, trainers don't even fight you anymore. You got to approach them.
Yeah. But I think that's something that a lot of people didn't really like in this 3D era. If you just walk around randomly, I mean, you're just going to fight a trainer.
That's how it's always been.
Exactly, but I don't think people really liked it as much, and that's why they made the change. I think it's a fine change. I mean, if you don't want to fight this trainer, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Right?
But another thing is, give me any lore about any of these cities or towns or anything interesting about them you can remember. I mean, there really isn't any, you know?
Really, I've only been to 2 towns, your main town and the town that the bug gym leader's in. Apparently the bug gym leader likes making sweets.
Yeah, but I mean, and the grass gym leader's art and the electric gym's like a VTuber.
Yeah.
But
can you count, but also, like, I barely remember any of the lore in any of the other Pokemon games, right?
Yeah, but I always felt that it was present. There was always something about them.
Yeah, I mean, in, I don't even remember, like, but the Volcano Town in Originals, Red and Blue.
Yeah, I was thinking Omega Ruby and Sapphire.
I mean, they've got, like, the Tree Village and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know Pokemon Village names, but yeah, these games are a technical mess.
Oh, yeah.
Now, personally, I'm going to say this. I have not found any game-breaking glitches or anything like that.
No, I feel like
the only thing that I have had affected me is a minor slowdown.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Right? I feel like these people that are like, oh, look at this crazy glitch, are kind of looking for them.
Yes, they're definitely looking for them and finding an excuse. As a casual player who's gone through, like, about 15 hours or so, right? Like, there's a knuckle stack in one of the West Province Area 2 or whatever, that, like, it's a terrestrialized version, right? And, like, there's a bunch of grass around it, so that, like, it really looks very weird and, like, technical mess. But besides from that, I haven't found, like, any big issues that makes my game crash.
No.
Besides for, like, the minor slowdown ever so often and the lag spikes, really, it hasn't been that bad for me personally.
The textures are not amazing. They look pretty bad. And the school lags terribly.
Oh yeah, and like
it's pretty bad.
And like into town, if there's like a character walking, they walk at like half frame rate.
It's pretty bad when you can see each individual frame of their walking animation.
Yeah, I mean it's not. I mean these games are a technical mess. We can talk about it in a second, but online I've seen like outcries of people like, oh, if people are saying that they're like enjoying Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and like they don't have game breaking glitches, they're just lying because they're like a Pokemon fanboy. I've been running this game mostly handheld on an original Switch.
I have as well, yeah.
Like, okay, I can fully admit, the games aren't, like, made correctly, right? Like, there's a bunch of technical glitches and everything, but it's not anything to where I'm like, oh, I can't even, this is unplayable trash.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost there, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I have had a visual glitch where my character doesn't appear when I'm riding on Miraidon and I go into a battle. That's happened multiple times to me.
But see, I haven't even had anything like that happen to me.
Yeah. Now, my friend Jacob, he did discover that you can backwards long jump on your ride. You can actually jump backwards up, like, almost 90-degree mountain slopes. You can traverse mountains in seconds. He's found out how to do that.
Yeah, and, I mean, yeah, that exists. I mean, whatever. I mean, that stuff exists in Breath of the Wild, but to be honest, what I think Pokemon needs to do, they need to spend their time patching up this game.
Yeah.
Like, they need to patch it up, and then Game Freak, we've got to do something about them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
I think this game would be a whole hell of a lot better. The gameplay is there, and the gameplay is great. Give them a year to sort out glitches, sort out frame rate, sort out memory issues, make shops available.
Yeah, and flesh out the towns and make them more memorable. You know?
Yeah, but that's also something that sort of existed in Pokemon. Like, the towns have always been sort of so-so.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever you see a town, you're like, okay, a Pokemon Center, and maybe like a mover learner. That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I feel like with Gen 9, they could do something to make these games better. For the most profitable franchise in the world, it's the least they could do.
What they really need to do is, I think we need to skip a generation, have the next generation stuff coming out in 2025, 2028. We need to have 6 years so they can fully get on the next Nintendo Switch hardware or the next Nintendo hardware and just have it.
Yeah,
right? They need more time to develop these. Yeah, 5 years,
and
whatever.
And that would coincide perfectly with the 30th anniversary Pokemon.
And that would be fine. They just need to do something to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, because
I have seen a lot of people online saying these games are the worst Pokemon games of all time. While I don't agree with them, I understand their point.
Yeah.
From a gameplay perspective, the first games suck ass.
Yeah, honestly, Red and Blue are not good. I want to be completely honest.
Red and Blue aren't good games. At the time, they were masterpieces.
Yeah, but now
now they're not. And this game is so much better. But the technical aspects are really just ruining this game.
Yep.
Like, have you seen the image going around of like whenever somebody throws a Pokeball at like a Wiglet, and the Wiglet reappears, and there's a guy standing over it, and the trainer standing over it, and it looks like the trainer's, you know what?
No, but I have seen, have you noticed this? When you catch a flying Pokemon, the Pokemon doesn't even drop to the ground. It shakes mid-air.
Yes.
It's so dumb.
And I saw that, and at first I was like, alright, that can sort of make sense, right? But it should fall to the ground. I mean, that would just make more sense. That's what's done in every other Pokemon game. So, I mean, I think with this game, textures aside, if they just were to take another year, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Pokemon, they can't.
And they don't care enough. They're gonna sell millions of copies anyways.
But next time, I think people are going to be more versed after seeing this.
Yeah.
I think people were really hyped after Arceus, because Arceus really had no technical problems. Maybe it looked great.
It did not look good, but yeah, you're right.
But also this game doesn't look good. Pokemon needs to outsource. Game Freak can't do everything. I mean, Creatures makes all of the character designs, right, and all of the Pokemon designs. Creatures has done their job flawlessly in these games. Game Freak needs to get better at what they're doing. And they need to have a studio like Monolith Soft. I mean, have you seen how the Xenoblade Chronicles games have run on the Switch and how good they look?
That's what I've seen.
Like, and then how Pokemon look.
Like, if Xenoblade can run and look that nice, why can't Pokemon?
Exactly.
And I just thought of something. They could realistically pull off a new game in 3 years if they did no remakes and just focus on those games. Because, like, you gotta think about this.
But also, Pokemon is such a mass media franchise. I mean, let's look at how many Pokemon games have come out in the Switch's lifetime. We had Let's Go.
That's 2.
A year later, Sword and Shield.
4.
And about about a few months later, we had the DLC drop.
Okay.
Right? So I guess it kind of is like one new game in a way, right?
I mean, we gotta remember, there's like, you can code the differences of all these games in a day. I mean, they're the same game.
Yes and no. I get what you're saying. But, like, we've got to realize, like, the Pokemon Company had no interest in doing Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. That was all Ilka. Ilka did those entire games. Game Freak had nothing to do with them.
Really?
Yes.
Alright.
Right? So, like, that's the thing there. We had Arceus. And, like, in a year time frame, we had Diamond and Pearl.
Yep.
Arceus. Scarlet Violet.
And Pokemon Snap as well.
But Pokemon Snap was earlier last year.
Okay.
Right? But you've also got, like, those sort of things. Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Unite.
The remastered Pokken Tournament.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that Pokemon has their hand in. And it's just, if they're putting out a game like this, they're going to be spending about probably a year to 2 years fixing this game. Making it runnable. I'm not going to say good because the gameplay is there and it's good.
Yeah.
It just looks like shit.
So, here's my final thoughts. I feel that Gen 9 lays an amazing groundwork for what Gen 10 can be. I feel like with the 10th generation, they've got to knock it out of the park. And if they can keep this relatively open world, I mean, I'm fine even if it's a little bit limited, but keep the open world, keep the gameplay loop.
I think they'll be fine if it's an open world, and even if it is an open world like Arceus. Because Arceus, while it wasn't a true open world, you had 6 main areas. You had your town, and you had the 6, I'm going to call them wild areas.
Yeah.
Right? And that was fine like that, right? Had a bunch of things going on in each of the areas, but all of those areas were completely seamlessly open world and perfect. But, again, this game is completely open world, and that changes things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we need new hardware out, and once I think the next Nintendo system has to be, like, very powerful, right?
Yeah.
It's got, by terms at least, it has to be as powerful as an Xbox Series S, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even if it's handheld, I don't care. It's gotta have power to it. Because having another sorry excuse for a platform, I mean, this thing is as powerful as a PS3.
Yeah, and...
Right? And we're 2 generations past that.
And the problem is that, like, if Nintendo stays behind, then developers are not going to want to retrofit their games to fit on Nintendo consoles.
Exactly.
So
even though Nintendo sells, like, butt game loads, I mean, look at how they're doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure these Pokemon games, I'm guessing that they've probably been the best Pokemon games ever in sales-wise. I mean, they've almost got to be.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I don't know anybody who hasn't got them personally. But it's just so crazy to look at, here's what we have now.
Yeah.
It's just such a mess all around. And, I mean, another thing to mention about these games, like, to be honest, going into them, there was no controversy. There's no, oh, we've got no national decks. Oh, it looks too chibi. Oh, look at the frame rates. Until when the reviews dropped.
Yeah.
And shit hit the fan.
Yeah,
I mean, there was no controversy about this game.
The only bad thing I heard is that the starters were dumb. That's it.
But that happens with every single Pokemon game.
And that's honestly just opinion, right?
Yes, there was no true argument with all this going on. So, it's just really... I was hoping this game would be really good. I think it is really good. But I think, overall, I think I've got to give this game a 6 out of 5.
Huh?
What'd I say?
A 6 out of 5.
Oh, a 6.5. I'm sorry. Because I think the gameplay and everything is here and it's good. But Pokemon and the Pokemon Company has made a star excuse for a game that runs like a shithole in the middle of December.
Yeah, like...
That doesn't make sense. Maybe you should in the middle of summer since it's all running. I don't know.
Like,
but it's just not good.
I could buy a $60 game on the Nintendo Switch that looks 10 times better and has just as much content.
You could buy Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Exactly. But I mean, so...
It's an RPG. You may not be collecting monsters, but it's still the same sort of game in a way.
So overall, I agree with you around 6.5. I love playing the game. Playing the game
is amazing. It's so fun. I mean, we didn't even talk about Pokemon like I wanted to, right? But it's so much fun just going around and seeing all of these new 103 Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's just such a fun time going around.
And I mean, I forgot what I was gonna say. It feels like we're playing a beta. Like a very early, like 6 months before the release of the game.
It does.
And
I think the 1.0 patch has helped us just a little bit. But just these technical failings just make the game more unfun for everybody.
I mean, it feels like a pre-production copy. I mean, that's really how it feels to play. And, I mean, it honestly just feels like I'm playing a last-gen game. I mean, it's very fun. It's like playing Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy is amazing, but it is outdated. This game
is so much better than Sword and Shield in every way.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, all of that.
But Sword and Shield did look good.
Yeah. So, Caleb, what do you think about this game?
Pretty good.
Alrighty, everybody. Jane, do you have any other thoughts?
No, but better luck next time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we're still gonna do more videos on this, and I really want to do a deep dive into all of the Pokemon. It's like we do have a lot of fun Pokemon here.
I think I think once we've played the game enough to see all the Pokemon, we should do a review on all of them.
I want to do it with every generation. Like, you know how we would,
Lord.
You know how we did with our our pre-released Pokemon? I'm gonna go through everyone like that and just like talk about all of them.
Not all 1,000 of them, ain't no way.
Not in one video, but it's like over time. I do Gen 1 one day, Gen 2 the next.
All right,
but other than that, thank you for listening, watching, however you do these podcasts, sort of like shows, and we'll see you next one. Have a good time playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is Glowplasma231 out.